Good morning. Good morning, you guys, and happy Monday.
Hercules.
It feels like summer is officially here, and I don't know about you, but
Or does it?
the sun's now rising at like 4:45 in the morning. So like it is so bright this time. So go ahead and drop a comment and tell us, what was your favorite activity from this weekend? Are you guys starting to do any summer activities? We'd love to know that. What did we do this weekend?
We did a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And then we took a beach walk.
Mm-hmm.
And we meal prepped.
Mm-hmm.
And did more work. And celebrated a good month.
Yeah. How did we celebrate?
We had a drink.
Yeah. What kind of drink?
We had a cider.
Yeah.
We had hard cider.
Yeah.
Hiking, night walk. Pool party.
For anybody, of course, we were like family here, so we're super transparent. So for anybody who completed the burn zone, I know that most of you guys have not yet, but Nikki and Jeanette did. Congratulations for that. We put together the burn zone level 2 over this past weekend, and we're going to be starting with that today. So super exciting. It's Monday, it's June, we're starting a new program. So
a new month on a Monday.
Yeah, like when all the good things like start on a Monday, it feels good. Don't you feel that same way? So real quick, I want to see what you all did this weekend.
Wait, way up. Going to Dog Beach and being driving range. That's so fun. Why are there videos somewhere of that? Pool party, hiking, night walks, mowing the grass, and boating down the river.
Nice.
That's fun. Kayaking and fishing. Bethany, nice. Completed day 12 of Rise Above. Nice. The burn zone is next for you, Ashley. We took the boyfriend's pups for a trail walk.
Nice.
Amazing. Laid out, got some sun while I went to my 6-year-old granddaughter Emma's 7th birthday car drive-by party. I'm trying to visualize that.
It rained in Canada. Kayaking. A lot of kayaking, huh?
Landscaping, working out.
All right. Lots of gardening, huh?
Cutting grass, lots of kayaking, paddleboarding, water things.
Oh, paddleboarding. So fun. So fun. I love that. Okay, so in all seriousness, you guys, we are starting today's topic on a light note because...
On a light note? Oh.
We just did. But you know, today's topic, the intention behind it is to challenge each and every one of you, ourselves included, in order to be better. So much shit is happening in the world, and you know, I also want to acknowledge that this is June, and June is Pride Month as well. And you know, I know that. In fact, I would love it if you dropped a comment and you know, tell us a little bit like what's your view with regards to just Pride Month is. So like, yes, we know that, you know, some of you guys are gay, some of you guys are straight. Quite frankly, come as you are. It really doesn't matter what you are. You know, however, there is a lot of things that are happening in the world right now that are just sad, and that are a byproduct of hate with regards to anything. So it doesn't matter what you are, what you love, who you're dating, whatever. What matters is that you own your shit. And, 2020, like, I feel like has taken kind of like I don't even know what to call it, but like 2020 has been a very eye-awakening year with regards to the importance of us needing to own our shit. For better or for worse. 40 million Americans have lost their jobs. What are they gonna do? Just like wait for the government to keep on paying them money, or are they going to like switch directions and take ownership of the change that's happening in a lot of industries?
I have to go back to when you said gay and straight. I don't even like those titles because, quite frankly, I actually don't feel like I fit under one. And so it's, we're not here to give anybody a title or put you in a box, or we're here to serve, we're here to deliver, we're here to help, and we're here to love. And so I'm sure, if not all of you, most of you probably know about what had happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and how it feels like we're kind of taking a few steps back with racism, or let's just say judgment of somebody based off of a way that they look. And now I'm going to start what I'm going to say by saying I'm not black. I've never been black. I will never be black. But I'm going to follow that by also saying you and I and Sarit and Boogie and everybody else, we don't get to choose what color we are born. Right? So then
we also don't get to choose, like, we get to own who we are, but we don't get to choose like being born gay either. And I think it's correlated. I want to relate to that because it is Pride Month, so I do really want to acknowledge it, and I think the timing of this is beautiful. It's sad that whatever is happening, but like, you are born who you are.
So this episode is going to be on ownership, right? You taking ownership. And look, to be 100% honest, anytime you give somebody else responsibility for how your life turns out, you're 100% of the time going to be disappointed. So with that being said, for one, I actually, like, when I see everything on TV, we were watching the news the other day.
And the reason why we don't normally watch the news ever.
So hold on. Okay, so the news was on in our house, right? So by default, not by my choice, but by default, I could see and hear what was going on. And, I was also asked a question yesterday that I'm going to bring up. And this is just in relation to just us as human beings, right? You and I as human beings, and on the news, there's riots, there's, people breaking into buildings, even where we live. Like, you think SoCal and you're like, oh, it's just this like bubble of, vacation land and whatnot. Well,
hippies.
In Santa Monica, like, the same damn thing was happening. And in, actually, I'm not sure downtown San Diego, but I know in Santa Monica, downtown San Diego.
San Diego is actually...
Regardless, people in so many areas of the world are like literally breaking windows of businesses and stealing shit out of them and whatnot. And what I noticed is most of them are black. Now, the first thought that went through my head is that if you want to do justice to what you're fighting for, which is respect, regardless of your color, right? And equality, regardless of your color, if you want respect, and this goes for, it doesn't matter if you're purple, blue, orange, black, white, it doesn't matter. If you want to be respected, you have to act in a respectable way. So that's ownership, right? Now, I was asked the question, hey, Erin, you as a white female, because we were having sort of a debate, you know, about the image that we have of a black person as a white person, and what your initial reaction is to a black person. My initial reaction is like, dang, you got good skin. To be honest, that's normally my, like, muscles, like the muscular structure. Anyways, so I was asked, Erin, you as a white female, if you went into a black neighborhood, would you feel safe right now? And I said, it depends on the neighborhood. But if I went, it doesn't matter. If the neighborhood has an energy that feels violent or feels threatening, any person will be scared, right? Any person, unless you grew up in that and that's what you're used to, right? If I went into a white neighborhood and it felt threatening, or it felt dangerous, or it felt, the energy was, what's the word I'm looking for?
Closed-minded?
No, just if the energy, it feels aggressive and threatening, I'm going to be scared. Doesn't matter if it's a black neighborhood, a white neighborhood, Mexican neighborhood, whatever. If the environment and the energy feels welcoming and light, I will not be scared. Now, fear is an emotion that we have based off of the idea or thought or belief that something bad is going to happen.
Preach it.
Right? So if I have fear, okay, let's take a tiger, for example, completely unrelated to anybody's color or even the human race, a tiger. If I see a tiger, am I scared?
Yes.
What if the tiger's behind a fence and it can't get me?
Sure.
Right? It's all circumstantial. But if you want respect, you have to behave like you want respect. So anyways, that's just on the topic of what's going on. Now, it's the same thing with, you talk about like gay people or whatever. We fight for the things that we want, but in the way that we fight, we tend to like oftentimes put other people down, which is not the right way to fight for what you want. Because if you're asking for love and you're asking for acceptance and you're asking for equality, you gotta give respect to get it.
You gotta earn that shit.
Right? Like, you get what you give. You get what you put out. So, and this then even goes into fat loss or weight loss, or, you know, our world of what we do, fitness, right? You get out what you put in, right? So if you're full of excuses, right, you're gonna get the result from the behavior that aligns with the excuses that you've made. You are the only one, 100% of the time, who's responsible for you.
Yep.
So it's not because of this that you can't do that. It's not because of Corona that you can't eat healthy. It's not
because of your kids that you gained weight.
Yeah, it's not. It's you get to decide the actions that you take on a daily basis. And we say this, you know, with love. And when we get passionate, it sounds a lot like preaching. Maybe it is, but. You know, it's just really important to us to know it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what sexual, you know, it doesn't matter what sex you are, it doesn't matter what,
what?
Sexual orientation, right? If you want people to love you and care about you for who you are, you gotta love and care and respect other people too.
But in order for you to do that, first you have to love and respect yourself. So it all begins with you, and I want to share a couple of stories, you know, with regards to my own life, because I've had the opportunity to live in a lot of places around the world, so I've seen, yes, I've seen and I've experienced a lot. I'm fully aware that this has happened to me. So, you know, I want to go in a chronological order, like, you know, starting with the time of, you know, for one, when I lived in Jamaica, and the oppression that I faced as a white female living in Jamaica. So Jamaica is obviously a black country, right? So like, I'm not even white, I'm a Middle Eastern, but you know, Jamaicans had the assumption that I came from a certain social status because I was white. So I was always threatened. And it was extremely dangerous for me to be anywhere. So like I avoided as much as I could walking on the street. Because every time I walk on the street, I'll be harassed. You know, one of the high schools I went to, it was called Immaculate. It was a Catholic high school. They actually called it the Pink Jail, right? Because girls were, it was an all-girls school of 1,600 girls from all around, like the Kingston area. And if you've ever heard about Kingston, Jamaica, that place is like hood, right? It's like ghetto city. Okay, and I would walk on the street from the back gate. It was like a 1 mile walk, and you know, I was told like, don't walk there, it's dangerous. Like, yes, sometimes there were gunshots flying in the air, but I chose to walk home because when I had the opportunity, because I believe that for as long as I didn't do anything wrong, like nothing is going to happen to me. And I just had faith that regardless of how dangerous a place is, I'm not going to not be me or not live my life because of a story that was told. Yes, it was dangerous. Yes, I didn't feel safe walking it. However, I wanted to experience my life still. So therefore I did it. However, I didn't go out of my way and like walk around the ghettos because I knew that, you know, like in the ghettos, that's where all the gangs are. And if they were to see me, they will just gang up on me. So, you know, you have to be cautious, right? However, you have to own yourself, right? And not avoid living your life because of a story that somebody else has about you. Right? So, you know, cars will beep at me, I'll get hissed at, but like I ignored it and I just did me. Now, fast forward, right? Going from living in Kingston, Jamaica, right? Like a very high crime, like third world city, to Madison, New Jersey, a very like uppity, like high class town. That's predominantly white in New Jersey, right, in the East Coast. And we're not here to get very political or anything, but like white Republican small town in the United States. You know, when I found out that I was gay, I had a couple experiences where I didn't feel welcome whatsoever. So for one, my first experience was when I worked at a pizza shop, right? It was owned by like a very like well-known like Italian family that had the restaurant there for like 50 years, right? And they paid under the table. And again, like I'm an immigrant, right? So like I had to get through shit, right? And I couldn't just get a job based off of the skills that I had because I didn't have papers. Imagine being qualified but not having a paper. Right? Like people don't look at you the same way. So like you have to like find a way, right? And anyways, because they were like very Republican, and I'm not here to get political, but like they were extremely conservative, and that being said, they were homophobic. So you know, another waiter who was gay, and he picked up on my mannerism. He's like, your family, right? I'm like, how do you know that? He's like, girl, I can see you from like, you know, like just how you walk.
How you walk is not a determining factor of whether or not you're gay.
But anyways, on day one, I was told like, look, you're gonna have to keep it a low profile here because you will start getting tortured. And like, I worked in that place for, I think, a year and a half. as a waitress, as a bartender, and you know, I kept a low profile because I saw the harassment that gay boy like got by the owner. Like they would slap his ass and like call him names and shit. And I'm like, that's actually inhumane. But I had no choice, right? Because I didn't have my papers. So like I had to suck it up and do whatever it takes, right? In order to
keep a job.
Yeah, to pay my bills, because that was my obligation, because if I didn't pay my bills, then I couldn't get my graduate degree, right? And I worked there for quite some time until, you know, the girl that I was dating back then, she was, I mean, we're obviously not together for a reason, but one day she came to the place drunk and we got in a fight. So they realized that I was in a relationship with a girl, and literally like a week later, I got fired. I got fired because the owners found out that I was gay, right? And that's another story. And another story, like when I was walking with a girl hand in hand in that town, I would get beeped at, and like we got the death stares. Right? So like it doesn't matter like where it is that you live. I feel like there's gonna be some level of oppression, like if you are any sort of minority. And I will say that anybody who's watching this is a minority to some degree, because unless you're Jason Lee, who is a male, you are, for as long as you're a female by itself, you're going through some level of oppression, right? So yes, I'm not black, but I'm a gay immigrant in the United States of America. So like, we all face oppression. We all do. Whether we like it or not, I feel like unless you're a white male, yes, you do have that white privilege. It is a thing.
Even as a female, like I recognize the privileges that I have. I really, truly do. But that's where it goes back to saying, I didn't get to choose the color that I was born. And you know what? I believe that we're all born the way that we are born for a specific reason. And regardless, oppression is an adversity. Every single person, as long as you are a human being and you have a beating heart, you have adversities to one degree or another. And now I feel really blessed to live where I do, to have been exposed to the people that I have. Yes, of course, to have the privilege that I have, but hopefully I can use that in a way that benefits more of society, which is what we're working on doing. You know, so regardless, they're all adversities. That's it. How do you handle adversity? What do you do? It's only up to you. So if we then bring this around to the subject of weight loss, right? We've talked a lot about what's going on in the world, you know, and then if we circle back around to what this show is about, which is helping you with your health, your fitness, your wellness, your weight loss, whatever. Adversity within the weight loss industry comes in the form, I believe, of excuses. I didn't say that right. Hold on.
I'm not really understanding.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my thoughts into words. What are the adversities that we face on our weight loss journey? Temptations. Food pushers, people who, Debbie Downers.
You know, needing to do something when we don't feel like it.
Being tired.
Or
having a busy schedule.
Or going out of our way to put in more work than most people won't. Right? Like, there is a reason why only so many people that you know in your close circle are fit. It requires an extreme level of discipline, and not just for 1 week out of the year. It requires consistency. So like, not a magic pill that in 2 weeks will change your life. right? It requires time because it requires consistency, and therefore it requires perseverance and persistence and commitment.
The topic of this show, or the title of this show, is called It's Your Fault. The reason that we titled it that way is because without actually saying those words, a lot of people, through their actions, say those words. We blame so hard, and I even catch myself sometimes blaming something or somebody, and it doesn't happen as often now because I've practiced it. But when you learn to own your actions, when you learn to own your life, when you learn to own where you're at and where you go, you become happier because you realize you actually have way more control than you believe that you do. Mm-hmm. And so if we're talking about weight loss, you know, some of the things that we hear, or what would be hurdles or adversities or struggles or barriers or whatever that we think we can't get past. Oh, I can't start this program because I have a vacation coming up. So I'll start.
Drop a comment of either some excuses that you've heard other people make in your close circle, or maybe you back in the day, or even you now.
Yeah.
Something that I hear way too often is like my kids. That really fucking pisses me off.
Well, we have to also recognize we're not moms. So we can't say, I understand. However, it comes back to ownership, which is a general principle, regardless of whether you have kids or not, or a dog, or a job, or it's something that is you see as getting in the way of you getting to where you want to be. Now,
are you thinking about more examples?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to go forward. So, you know, you get to choose ultimately what goes in your mouth. And we've talked about this before, but it's like, you know, unless unfortunately you have some kind of illness that prevents you from actually feeding yourself. For one, my heart goes out to you. For two, I'm really glad you're watching this show anyways. And for three, if most of the people in here I know can feed themselves, can think for themselves, have the right and the opportunity to make decisions for themselves. So, you know, Kayla's a mom, so she can give her 2 cents, or any moms can give their 2 cents. You know, how many times are you making a PB&J and your kid doesn't want the crust, so you're like, oh, I'll have a couple bites. That is not your kid's fault. I don't need to be a mom to know that.
Or because kids take up more time and dedication, which is true. Like, you know, mom saying, I don't have time to work out. It's like, no, you just need to get better at structuring your day. And it comes down to priorities.
There's a book behind us. Go that way. Where is it? Right here. It's by Marie Forleo.
Everything is figure outable.
And it says, and it's called Everything is Figure Outable. So if you think you don't have enough time, if you think you can't afford healthy food, if you think that you just don't have the discipline or the willpower or whatever,
or the genes,
if you think that because my family history is XYZ and you accept that that's how you're going to be, all of these things dictate the results that you get. So we're here to help you know that it doesn't have to be that way. Don't put anybody else in control of the results that you get, and don't blame anybody for the results you don't get. Right? As soon as you put somebody else in control of your goals and use them to play the blame game, you're always going to be disappointed and you'll never reach your goals. You know why? Because your goals are not important to anybody but you, because it's not anybody else's goals. So nobody, I mean, actually, we will fight for you, but that's why we're here.
Right.
But don't rely on your, significant other, your husband or your wife, to keep you accountable, or to, don't put responsibility on anybody else to get to where you want to be.
Mm. Yeah. So I want to transition into, what does it take in order for... So here's the thing. I want to be clear about this. Unless you learn to own your shit in any area of your life, whether it's about being gay, whether it's about being black, whether it's about being overweight, or just not having...
A business owner.
In anything, the first thing that you have to do is you have to own your shit, for better or for worse. You have to own your shit, because here's the thing. Until you learn to own your shit, you're always going to blame other things, and you will never do whatever it takes. Because if you don't take full responsibility for who you are, what you are, where you're at, you're never going to be able to take full responsibility for the actions that you take, right? So if it's, you know, for one, know that there's only one race, and it's called the human race. Love is love, amen. But if, you know, based off of the time that we're at, if we are, right, like wanting more respect for who we are, right, the first thing that I would do is I would act in a certain way that will require respect instead of acting like a hooligan.
But at the same time, you have to have a respect for yourself.
Right.
Nobody will ever respect you if you don't respect yourself.
And that's why you have to own your shit.
It is always your fault. I ask myself when something doesn't go... I'm not perfect, by the way, but as an example, this is something that I've learned to do that I can think of would be extremely helpful for you if you struggle with this. But is when something doesn't go the way that I want, I ask myself, what did I do that I could have done better to either decrease the amount of dissatisfaction I have from this outcome, or that would have prevented this outcome and given me the outcome that I want? What is it that I did that I can do better? Because the fact is, I can't control Sarit. I can't control you. I can't control the weather. I can't control Sergeant. I can't control anything other than me, my thoughts, my actions, my behaviors, my habits, my life, me. That's all I got. So if I'm going to focus on all of these other things when something doesn't go the way I want, where am I actually going to get? It's like running on a treadmill where you're just like running and getting nowhere, right? And it's exhausting, and it's the blame game. So ask yourself, really, like when something doesn't go the way that you want, what is it that you could have improved on? What is it that you could have done better?
Yes.
That's ownership.
So for one,
own your shit.
For one, let's talk about the concept of respect, whether it's earning respect from others, because people just don't see you for who you are, right? In anything, if it's because, let's say, you're overweight and you feel like you have to hide in your clothes, or let's say because you're black or because you're gay, right? Like it is an adversity, right? Like you have to own who you are, for one, right? Like, because this is who you are. Don't try to be somebody else. Own who you are. However, the reason why this is hard is because respect is something that's earned. It's not something that's given. However, most people demand respect having not earned it, right? Like for me, being an immigrant, I have to earn the right to become a U.S. citizen. I have to earn it. I have to work hard for that shit.
If you want somebody to believe that you're good to be around, you're safe, you're supportive, you are respectful, you are generous, you are whatever words you want to describe you. When you're in your grave and people are at your funeral, what do you want people to say about you and who you were and what you did in this life? That is ultimately what you want, right? I want people, when I'm dead, I want people to be like, she was one of the most dedicated, like, unbelievably helpful people to billions of people around the world. She helped actually make a positive change and impact in our community, selfless, generous, right? Like, I want people to say these things about me, but do you think if I go break a window of a store and start taking shit out of it, people are going to say that about me? Not a hell of a chance, right? So first you have to believe, and you have to have all of those things you have to have within you first, because that will dictate then the behavior. If you don't have respect for yourself, if you don't care about yourself, if you talk down to yourself, if you're constantly saying negative things about yourself, that is how you're going to behave. That's how you're going to be seen. You can bet you're not going to be respected. You can bet people are going to judge you. If you're judging yourself all the time, when you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, you know, and you think all these negative things about yourself, and then you go out into society and you're in a group of people, you immediately think that those people are going to think what you think about yourself. So you have to change the script here first. You have to transform here first. You have to respect yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to care about yourself in order for other people. And I will tell you, you don't have to care about yourself for other people to care about you, because I don't know how you feel about yourself, but I know for sure Sarit and I care about you. However, you'll never believe it if you don't care about yourself. Mm-hmm. You'll never believe anybody else loves you if you don't love yourself. You'll never believe that anybody else cares about you or wants to be part of your life if you don't care about you and you hate your life. Right?
And it goes back to respect. Like, if you don't treat you with respect, right? What makes you think that somebody else will?
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to give you guys an example. Like, for example, like every time we go to a public place, whether it's the grocery store or whatever, like, we get asked, right? Like, do you guys work out? Right? Like, we immediately earn respect because people can see based off of the way that we look, that we treat our body with an extreme level of respect. Right? So, like, we immediately earn it. And to be honest, this is why we're on a mission. Because we know that respect is something that has to be earned. And we know that when you are at a point where you're like, man, I feel good about myself, you are going to start a conversation. You're going to have more opportunities than you ever had before, because people will immediately have respect for you. However, people are seeking respect without having earned it. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, we are at a time where there's a lot of social things going on. So whether you're black, whether you're gay, remember, respect starts with you. Yeah. If your workplace doesn't treat you right because you're black or because you're gay, guess what? Act in a way where respect will be earned. It's not going to be easy, but don't retaliate.
If you walk into the office and you call somebody a piece of shit, do you expect that the next time you walk into that office, they're going to fucking bow down to you? You know. And I'm going to help anybody in here who's struggling with weight loss right now. I'm going to help you lose weight right now, immediately. Next time you want to eat something that is disrespectful to your body, ask yourself, am I having respect for myself by eating this? Mm-hmm. The answer is going to be no. Donuts, cronuts. I just learned what those were like a few months ago. Cronuts. It's like a croissant donut. Probably delicious. Look, we love these things just as much as anybody else. Cake and ice cream, and I had some ice cream last night. It was intentional. But
right,
life is also meant to be lived. So it's the intention that matters. If you're mindlessly eating things, it's disrespectful to your body if it's not going to serve you in one way or another.
Because you're treating your body like a trash can.
Right. So ask yourself next time, are these hot Cheetos respectful to the inside of my body? Right? Are they going to help me feel energized? Are they going to help me feel confident? Right?
So wherever you're at right now in your life, for one, know that we love you. Okay? But for two, know that you will never love you until you own your shit. Mm-hmm. And that takes vulnerability. Yeah, to own your shit. Be like, man, I'm fat. I fucking hate it because every time I walk around, people stare at me like, you know, like I'm the elephant in the room, right? Like you have to own your shit. Like,
but even,
don't play victim, or you know, if you're black or if you're gay, like own your shit. But you know,
acknowledge the adversity, but move forward in a way that is going to help you improve.
Right, and that requires for you to do the right thing. So, right, like if we want more human rights, let's act with love and peace and do the right thing to bring people together and make the community better, and instead of destroying it. I have a feeling that we're now probably going to go back to a time that's worse than the 70s. This shit started with coronavirus. I don't even know what we're going to next. But, do the right thing. I mean, look, Martin Luther King, Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres, they've all faced adversity, but they earned so much respect, and that's why I love them. Because when being faced with an adversity, they owned their shit and they did the right thing.
That's a perfect example. Martin Luther King, Oprah Winfrey, Rosa Parks, there's a ton of them.
Ellen DeGeneres.
But if we're just talking about black people or gay people, right? Yeah. There's a ton of people, right, that have these same adversities, but people treat them very differently. You get scared when you see Oprah? Fuck no. Is she black? Yeah. Why don't you get scared when you see her? Because she has respect for other people, and she's here to help and make a positive impact. Right. Now, somebody said, Natasha, I don't know who they is. I'm not going to assume, but they burned down a children's playground in my town. Now, they who? Humans? Or is it black people? Which are still humans. But here's the thing, is if a group of white people burned down a playground, I would have the same amount of disrespect for that group of people. It doesn't matter what your color is. If you burn down a fucking children's playground or you start stealing shit, I don't respect you.
Because you're not doing the right thing.
Because you lack integrity. Right? So it has to start here. Right? With you. You have to respect you. You have to respect other people. And you have to believe that this world can be great. I think a lot of people are just like, oh, so much shit's happening. This world sucks. And then you behave in such a manner. Or people are like sheep and we just follow what other people are doing. So a lot of people, I think, are just...
This world is an amazing place. I think the problem is we're not taught the right things. And this is why we want to have, you know, today's topic. And I really, really hope that each and every one of you guys who are watching this right now will share it with hopes that it will become viral so that people will make a difference in their own community, but they start with them. So many people want to make a difference in other people's lives, but they haven't made a difference in their own life. And this is where the disconnect is. First, you have to become, and then you help to transfer this forward, right? And the same thing goes with weight loss, right? And this is why I love this community so much, because when somebody reached a certain level with regards to their body, they now feel like they want to pay it forward. Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing. Anybody who has achieved anything great in life wants to pay it forward.
Several people who have worked with us.
Right. It's
Tammy, Lauren, Ashley, Kayla, anybody, Nikki Johnson, like anybody who, Laura Lane, like people like significant others start like becoming inspired by their journey, right? Of self-respect and change, positive change. So just by your own actions, you can inspire and empower the people who are around you and see you to make positive change in their life too.
So, right. So it starts with you, and it takes time. It's not like, okay, I'm gonna do this, right? Like, again, like the whole retaliation that's happening right now, people are looking for quick, they're reacting quickly. No. Like the greatest things in life, right? Whether it be making a positive impact takes time. I mean, look at this show, right? Like we started a couple months ago, we started with one person watching it. And we said we are going to, we're on a mission to transform the lives of millions of others. And right now we have 28 people in the room, which is not nearly close to where we want to be. But guess what? It's gonna take time, but we will get there. It has to start with you. And it has to start with your reason, right? And you have to show up in a way that demands respect, right? And by demanding respect, you have to bring value, right? Just like anybody who gets a promotion in their job, it's because they've earned a certain skill that makes them more valuable in the marketplace. You're not just gonna walk in and because you put in a certain amount of time, you're gonna get a promotion. Just like if you're on a weight loss journey, just because you've been doing it for 6 months doesn't mean you're gonna get there. It's the amount of work that you put in that's going to help you to get there. Okay, so know that. Okay, you have to own who you are right now. Like, just fucking face it. Most people are so scared of facing it, and that's why they don't reach anywhere.
When you are taking ownership for who you are and where you're at right now, if it's not where you want to be careful to not give yourself labels or identify as what you don't want to be.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, I'm fat. You're literally putting your identity and claiming, there's a difference between I'm fat and I have extra body fat, right? Don't identify as what you don't want to be. You can acknowledge a certain place and where you're at, which is great, and you should, because that's where it starts. But there's something else I was going to say. I don't remember.
Okay, I want to share with you guys a golden nugget. You guys ready for this? How you define yourself today will affect who you will be 5 years from now. So if you use the word, I am whatever Erin said, right? You will be that 5 years from now. 5 years from now. Okay, so use your words wisely. The words you used 5 years ago define who you are today. Everybody's looking for this quick fix. No, it starts with here, and changing this takes a lot of time. Right? So do the right thing. Be cautious of what you say, but until you own your shit, you'll never be cautious of what you say. Right? So you will act numb. You will be numb. You won't get anywhere because you're not facing the problem, because that's painful. Look how much hatred anybody great has achieved and overcome before they were called great and they've earned respect. Martin Luther King, right? Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres, right? Like, now we see them at the top, but 20 years ago, guess what?
They were being hated on.
They were being hated on so hard.
There's still, the more people know who you are, the more people are going to hate on you, regardless of how many people love you. Who loves Ellen DeGeneres? Like, I want to, like, some emoji comments. Like, if you love Ellen DeGeneres, you think she's a great person and she's whatever, giving and selfless and generous and nice and funny and whatever, and you like her, drop an emoji hand, right? I love Ellen. I think she's great. But what I discovered the other day when I logged on to YouTube for myself to post something of us, I got distracted. And I saw something that's like, Ellen DeGeneres so rude or whatever. And I'm like, oh, what is this? I've never seen Ellen be rude. And people, like, you guys love Ellen, right? Oh yes, love her. She's amazing. There are people who will put videos, take things out of context, skew Ellen's sense of humor, and see it to be rude, right? It's on YouTube. There's a lot of people who still hate. It doesn't matter how much good you're doing. Like, you're always going to have adversity, and you have to learn how to handle the adversity in order to keep becoming your best self. There's people even who say shit to us that could get us down. And though, you know, it might sting for a second because we're all human and we have emotions and, you know, we want to be validated, of course. We're human beings. When somebody says something mean about you or false or, you know, that is against what you know your character is, like, that's going to happen. But when you're saying it to yourself, that you have control over.
Amen.
So first learn to deal with that. Look, we love all people until they prove, no, we love all people and we respect all people until you give me a reason to not respect you anymore. Right? I get it. We're all people. We're all made of the same stuff. Whatever God you believe in, we come from the same one. Right? So why wouldn't we respect each other in that manner?
Mm-hmm.
How are we really different? Like, some people got a better tan than others. Black, white, whatever. I'm like, you got good color. It doesn't matter. Respect yourself first and respect everyone else around you. Until they prove that they don't deserve it, actually, quite frankly, which then I don't disrespect them, I just remove them.
Yep.
Right? So, that's all I got today.
Yeah. Own who
Starts
you
with
are.
you, baby.
Own who you are regardless of who you are. Don't try to be somebody else, right? It's all about you being your best you. And the thing is, everybody wants the glory, but before you get to the glory, you're gonna have years, and it's not weeks, years of difficulties. And you have to be okay with it. And if you're not okay with it, then again, you're not owning your shit. You would rather just play victim mentality. Oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Yeah. The best things in life are earned. They're not given.
Lady Gaga says, baby, I was born this way. And the sooner you learn to own that and become to love that, the sooner you will be happier and the sooner you will start treating yourself with more respect and getting what you want in life.
And the more respect you treat yourself with over a certain amount of time, with time, the more respect you're going to gain from others.
Yep.
And that's why, you know, anybody that we work with, right, who's achieved massive success. Weight loss is hard, you guys. If you didn't listen to Kayla's interview on Friday, you're going to need to listen to it. Weight loss is hard. At first, people are going to doubt you. They're going to talk so much shit on you. You can't do this. You were, you know, like hating.
You're going on another diet. Oh, let's see how this one goes.
Yeah.
Fuck you. What?
Let's see how you do by Friday, right? Like, you're going to have to overcome it. And then 20 pounds later, they're like, wow.
Oh, shit.
What are
Put
you
them
doing?
in their place.
What are you doing?
And I'll say, if you're in America, you have no excuse. You have no excuse, and you don't have problems. You have inconveniences. Starvation is a problem. We don't have that in America. We have actually quite the opposite. Homeless people can find food, right? So if you are in America, you are literally in the land of opportunity. If you didn't watch the SpaceX launch, go watch that and you will understand how much opportunity there is in this world. You don't have to be yes, there are adversities, but if you believe and you can overcome the adversities and stop making excuses for why you can't get to where you want to be, you will get to where you want to be. With time, with persistence, with consistency, with resilience. But it all starts in your mind, and it starts with you. So that's what we got today.
You guys, if you enjoyed this, do us a favor and please share this.
Please
share the love. Love is meant to be shared, not to be kept. You know that our mission is so big right now. We already said it 2 times, but maybe we need to say it again, right?
We're on a mission to transform the lives of millions of people through the same movement, nutrition, and lifestyle habits that have transformed ours.
So it's all about paying it forward, right? Like, we've earned it, now we're paying it forward. You've listened, Pay it forward. It only takes 2 seconds. Also, we have a community builder challenge going on.
Pay attention.
But starting today for the next 2 weeks.
You want to win some free shit?
We want to reward you for helping us to spread the love because we are on a massive mission. Okay? And we know that more people need to listen to this. So if you want to win some amazing stuff, okay, all you're going to have to do is whichever video that you listen to that resonates with you, be authentic about it, okay? Please, if you're like, I hated this shit, I mean...
Don't share it just to win something.
Right.
Share it because you want to share it.
Yeah, or if you're like, I hated this shit, then yeah, share it too, so that more people can understand why. But
that went against completely what you just said.
I know, but anyways, like whichever video resonated with at least one thing that you believe in, please do us a favor, share this video. Make sure you tag us, okay? And then also invite as many of your friends and family members who you think will be a good fit for this community.
So what the prizes, okay? There's a first and a second place prize. We really want to grow this community because we know that we have the wherewithal, the knowledge, and the experience to change the lives of millions of people, just like we say we're going to do. This extends even beyond weight loss and fitness and health, but even into business as we continue to grow as business owners, right? So, and entrepreneurship. So if you want, the first place prize is going to be the lean protein powder from...
No, the Lean Plus.
Oh, Lean Plus supplement from X Endurance. We can post a link so that you can look at it and see what it's about.
We already did yesterday.
Okay, amazing. Sarit already did yesterday. And a 30-minute strategy session coaching call. Okay, second place is going to get the strategy session coaching call, right? So what the person who shares the most videos and invites the most friends to our community, to the Erin and Sarit page, are going to win those prizes.
So do the right thing.
But you must share and you must tag us.
So we can keep track of what's happening, okay? Starting today, ends Friday after next.
2 weeks.
We wish you guys an amazing day. Own your shit today, regardless of what's going on the outside. Don't react, instead act. And act in a way that matters.
Respond with respect to yourself first.
All right, you guys, have yourself an amazing day. We will catch you tomorrow at 6:30.
Bye.
Bye.